we see a lot of movies. We get very emotional. That maybe there was a tear shed as well, because I saw Ashwin going into the press conference. I was changing there, and suddenly I saw Ashwin and Rohit going into the press conference. I went and sat in there. He came out, gave me a big hug when we came back. I followed his career very closely. DK, you've been very close to him as well. There are two ways of looking at this. One is to celebrate a career, then to judge whether it's the right time or no. But on a purely personal level, how do you see this?
I feel for him. He's someone who is from my state, and I can definitely say he's the greatest ever cricketer that's come out from our state, Tamil Nadu. I'm a young boy, I saw him when he was playing under 14, and he was a one-trick pony. He just could bowl fast and flat. From there to becoming an absolute geek and a scientist, as they all call him, because of how much he's able to innovate and change things in the middle of a game, in the middle of a series. He set the bar very high for himself and constantly pushed him. One thing that when you see Ashwin, you get is he's a clever man. He knows what he's doing, and he's always used that to his advantage. As much as possible, he's pushed the bar in every regard. He's done great things. He's done funny things. Once I remember in an Asia Cup, he said, I want to bowl like Sunil Narayan. Because if he can get away doing what he is doing, I want to do it as well, because it's going to help my bowling. So he's a man who's able to push boundaries and do things that people will be very, very, reluctant to do. And he never thought twice. He feels that he wants to take every advantage that is there in the book. He plays a lot of gully cricket in Chennai, and even today he does that, and he wants to win. He's a winner by nature, doesn't take losses very easily, and that has come through in his career. I'm very happy for his family. I think at the start, if his dad and mom had been told this is how the career would pan out, I think they would, pray to every god and say thank you for this being his career, and it's panned out beautifully for him. A World Cup winner, someone who has made a comeback in a World Cup very recently, and he's topped the charts. He didn't play the 2023 World Cup, but he was part of the team. Shows the belief that Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid had right up to the end. And even today, he's arguably one of the best spinners going around in the world in any format. He could have easily played another couple of seasons in home games. Nobody would have questioned him. Just a series ago, he was the man of the series. But I personally felt he wasn't the bowler that he was a couple of years ago. And I always felt he would be thinking about it, because he's a man who set very high standards for himself. And I think he's taken the decision at the right time. He's now back to his home franchisee, CSK, where he started. A lot of good things happening in his life. As you know, very prevalent and very, very ambitious, even on the social media front and YouTube. And he's doing all of those videos, keeping all his fans entertained. But most importantly, he was a match winner. And for a lot of the time in India, he was the guy that India couldn't do without. And that is saying a lot for himself as a player.
It's very strange, when we saw Ashwin start off, he'd played a lot of first class cricket, but like many others, like Jasprit Bumrah himself, who's now the flag bearer in the fast bowling department, like Ashwin was in spin, you attracted attention through T20, through the IPL. Ashwin had played a lot of cricket before, but attracted attention through the IPL. And when you saw him, you thought, yes, wonderful spinner, but you were not sure he'll take 500 wickets. If you had told me also at that point when Ashwin started, he'll take 500 wickets, I would have gone, wow. And in that respect, his career has a lot of parallels with that of his hero, Anil Kumble. When Anil Kumble also started, people thought one-trick pony, like you said. And he widened the scope of what was possible within the limitations that life had placed on him, and he took 619 wickets. I think if you look at Ashwin, you will say that he widened the scope of finger spin bowling, and that with a very powerful mind, with a very thinking mind, has allowed him to reach this pinnacle of 537 wickets. I mean, sometimes we don't know the presence of greatness if it's in our midst all the time. But someone who has taken 537 wickets, I think sometimes you must just pause, take one step back and look at the same person again. 537 is a lot of wickets, and it is a career to be extremely proud of. It is a career you can hold his head high. You hold your head high in front of 2 or 3 sets of people. With your peers, with your friends, you don't need to. They recognize it. But you go back to your family, and his family has been very close. His wife, his daughters are also very close. He can hold his head and say, Dad, I did well. I did well. and in the wider community. When he travels in Australia, England, even after he's finished, they will look at him with respect. And DK, when you finish, what more do you want? The numbers are there, but you want respect in your camp and the opposition camp. He's got that. I
I
mean,
think if you just go
yeah,
through his records, I'm a fan of speaking about the person that he was and what he tried to achieve with what he has, and you can read through this, and it's quite a nice way to put not just a Kuti story, as you would know, Kuti story is what he does on his YouTube, just the kind of things that he's done. Most 5 wicket hauls by an Indian, most player of the series awards, and he was alongside Muralidhar and went past Sachin Tendulkar. Like crazy records, the records that I don't think can be broken easily, and we always speak about his bowling, but his batting, how valuable it was. Whenever required in home conditions, sometimes on tough
yeah.
pitches, he found a way to get runs. He got upwards of 500. So he's a special cricketer, Harsha, someone who is. I always rate people when they are able to push themselves ahead of the so-called term talent, and I think he is someone who pushed his barrier a lot more. The one name that always comes to my mind when I speak about that is Rahul Dravid. I don't think he was the most gifted batsman, but he made sure he ticked every box possible to pick up the best that he could be. And Anil Kumble and R. Ashwin are two cricketers like that. Like how we speak about Jasprit Bumrah today. We wouldn't be anywhere in the series without Jasprit Bumrah in this series. I think R. Ashwin has been that person in any home series in almost the last decade completely. We would have been very different results. We would have seen very different results if he had not played. And I can't think of many series where he's left mid-series. This is probably the first, and what an
I don't
ironic
think he's
way.
missed a test match in India. I don't think he's missed a home test, and that in itself is a pretty awesome record. But yes, I agree with you. I think he took his craft beyond. He's got extraordinary respect for what he has achieved, and he can look back. I mean, I agree that you said that maybe he wasn't at his peak and that therefore it's not such a bad time. I thought maybe he had a little bit more from him. I thought there were periods in the Adelaide Test when he bowled well, but there's no point now thinking whether the timing was right. Now that he has made up his mind, that's fine. He had a lot of love, respect from his teammates. Rohit Sharma spoke effusively about him. That's a bit of a mutual admiration thing. If you remember when Ashwin's mother wasn't too well, and he spoke very effusively of Rohit Sharma's role. There was a nice little moment there, DK, which you saw on the Star Sports cameras. It wasn't over here. Virat Kohli and Ashwin hugging. And, your teammates, you hug each other and say, well played. I thought the expressions on both their faces told a story there as well. I believe Virat has also put out a tweet in appreciation of Ashwin. Played with you for 14 years. It made me a bit emotional, and all those things came back to me. Yes, you'll be remembered as a legend of Indian cricket, and yeah, that's true. With said, wish you a lot of respect. That is the one word, isn't it, DK? Wish you a lot of respect. You earned a lot of respect, and I think as Ashwin walks off into the sunset of his international career, he can be very happy with the respect that he has earned. We had that line over there, not just a Kutti story. I learned a line from DK, so we'll just say it together. Peria, no?
Very story. He is very Ale. Where Murray is, and yeah, when I recently retired too 6 months ago, and when you finish your cricket, Harsha, I realized that the stats and what you've done doesn't matter as much as just two things. One, the number of titles that you won. That is the strongest memory that actually keeps coming. You don't remember a good-looking 40, a bad-looking 20. It doesn't matter, to be honest. You always remember the titles you won. Whatever you've done in that series doesn't matter. The titles. Number two is the respect from your peers. And if you've got both of that, which I believe Ashwin has, and I think he would be very, very content with how his career is unfolded. But as always, just like me, I think he has a little bit of cricket in him, and he enjoys playing the sport. And I'm very keen to see how he moves forward. We all know he's going to play the IPL, but apart from that, what else is he willing to do? He said he's going to play a little bit of club cricket. So it's going to be an interesting time to see what he's looking to. We all know, obviously, he's very strong in the media section as well. So we always see a lot of Ashwin, and I think he's always been so far in his channel where he's asking the questions, but he'll come out with his thoughts a lot more on what can be done. It's always going to be a very left field to take to a lot of what we think.
What is it about these players from Tamil Nadu? One retires and becomes an Instagram phenomenon. One is close to retirement, announces retirement today, is a YouTube phenomenon. Leave something for other people also, no? But anyway, today is a day to reflect. Slightly emotional day when someone that you've known very well, with someone you've had conversations with and got to know well, when someone retires from the game, you feel a little bit. I must admit I felt it when you retired as well. Now I can say so to your face. But yeah, so goodbye to Ravichandran Ashwin. You made our game richer, and I think you cannot say too much more than them.